All right, let's see what we got. I was out with friends watching the MLB playoff games, or I rushed home. I saw this post. Fuck, I'm time to make a video, man. Let's take a look. Dungeon rewards up to plus 20 additional value tier. Let's see what they have to say. We're going to read every single word. I'm going to give you my thoughts. This is coming on, the heels of me having a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of discussion going on with pugging and rewards and making the game encourage people to actually care about the keys they're doing a little bit more. So let's see what they have to say. Thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts and feedback. Feedback like this is valuable and helps inform decisions within the team as we continue to iterate on systems like Mythic Plus. While I don't have any information to share about this specific suggestion today, I do want to take what is the post? What are they're referring to here? Differentiating Mythic Plus. Oh god, I can only imagine. Oh, I actually know that person. Okay, anyway, that's it. So let's go ahead and read the post. I do want to take this opportunity to offer some insights into changes coming to Mythic Plus and Dragonflight and our thought process behind them, as well as open up a discussion around elements that are still being worked on or could change in the future. First off, we'd like to provide some more context for a change you may have already heard about. I'm out of breath. I ran up the stairs. If you've done Mythic Plus over multiple seasons, you may have had the experience of running a particular dungeon over and over chasing a prized item, only to be faced with chasing the same item in that same dungeon the following season as well. That's not great, and we want to do something about it. Yeah, I thought you already did that. Perhaps the biggest change coming in Dragonflight is that we'll be rotating the entire set of Mythic Plus dungeons every season. We believe this will result in a better overall experience by providing primary Mythic Plus players more of a sense of exploration and progression each season that raiders get to enjoy with new raids. That's it. Much of the fun of Mythic Plus comes from seeing yourself get better and better at playing a dungeon through experience. I agree. But opportunities to learn and improve become more scarce the longer a dungeon stays active in the pool. No, other way around. What are you talking about? It's the other way around. Anyway, this is not. I don't know why they've been talking about this. Keeping the level of effort required to get the best, the best rewards consistent season over season. Learning a new raid can be fun and challenging. What is that? I don't understand that. They're saying that much of the fun of keeping the level of effort required to get the best rewards consistent season over. I don't really understand what that's supposed to be. This is the point, and then this is their commentary on the point. Is that right? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, learning a new raid can be fun and challenging, but the relative ease of completing Mythic Plus dungeons that everyone mastered last season can create heavy social pressure to spend time in Mythic Plus gearing up, even if it's not your preferred activity. Creating space, I'm not sure what they're talking about right now. Creating space for returning players to jump into Mythic Plus even if they missed the previous season. Imagine taking a break during season 1 and coming back in season 2 only to join a Mythic Plus group and feel like you're holding them back because everyone else knows the strategy you've never had the chance to learn. With dungeons rotating every season, everyone gets to start on a relatively even playing field and figure out new strategies together. That's not a good thing. It doesn't matter. Why are we talking about this? We already know that they're not going to just undo. How long is this article? Okay. Thank God. What are we talking about? This already happened in season 4. This post should have been from season 4. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is not a good thing, okay? If you take a break for fucking 8 months, you're behind. That's all there is to it. I don't want to hear anything like this. Like, oh, I took 8 months off and now I'm behind. What the hell? It's like, dude, that's how life works. Go take 8 months off your job, your real life job. You're gonna come back and you're gonna feel like you don't belong there anymore, dude. That's how it works. Okay. So yeah, maybe don't take 8 months off and then expect to come back and feel like you're out of place. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but regardless, this is good. I'm glad they're doing this. Regardless, I wasn't a big fan of it, and I'm not really I'm like 9 out of 10. I'm not like 10 out of 10 on it. It's like good. It's solid, very good, but I'm not in love with it. But it's still a better system than I thought it was going to be. And my big complaint was the things that they basically just say. It's kind of the opposite. Like what they're saying here is not true. You do not learn. You do not want to learn this way. You want to be rewarding people who do keys frequently, and they're basically doing the exact opposite of what I hope they will do when they're talking about this in this post. Because you want to give people reasons to get better over a long period of time. And right now, this season is not working. It's just clearly not. Upper Karazhan is completely out of whack. Like I cannot finish this freaking key, and there's a couple problems with a couple dungeons, to the point where I basically feel like I can't progress anymore. I'm completely out of progression options because like I don't have the score from those 2 or 3 dungeons that are my highest upper Kara is a 22, and I have 26s and other keys. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's just completely not working, and I just hope that the next set of dungeon pulls will be better because there's no incentive for me to do this dungeon right now. The players are treating it like it doesn't matter to them. They don't care about my key. They don't care about whoever's key is hosted. They don't care about anything. The social elements of Mythic Plus are completely gone. Nobody is trying to get better. Nobody's trying to learn. Nobody's trying to be the best they can be in this content. And because this dungeon won't exist next season, I have no reason to ever run it again. Like I don't want to say these words out loud, but I've said them out loud multiple times now. I'm not running that dungeon again this season. Like that's it. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm not running that dungeon again, especially not on the Brewmaster. I'm probably not playing that character again this season at this point. It's just not working. Okay, so you can do this all you want, but you're gonna have to get better dungeons because right now, I never would have predicted it would have been Karazhan. Certainly not with Grimrail in the slough. But if this happens again in season 1 of Dragonflight, we got some big, big questions to answer. So anyway, that's not even new. I don't know why we're talking about that. Seasonal affixes. Here we go. They've been a staple of Mythic Plus for years now. But what purpose do they serve, and why do we keep making them? Okay. Seasonal affixes play a key role in shaking up gameplay. We're asking you to play the same dungeons for well over a year, and adding new twists helps keep them feel fresh. That's why they did in the past, or what? Because now they're not asking that anymore. Okay, give us an opportunity to add thematic flavor and give each season a sense of identity. It's cool to have N'Zoth or Denathrius influencing Mythic Plus dungeons. I totally agree with that. I think that's actually the best part of him. I love how, especially there's like good voice lines and stuff for him. Like they usually have something interesting happening. Anyway, are a great place to experiment and try new ideas. We can keep things that work well for a future season while safely leaving behind things that didn't work well. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's partially like what we were talking about with like inspiring as actually part of a BFA seasonal affix. I think, there can be a lot that can be learned from these affixes. Anyway, but as the greatest seasonal affixes have been, they also have limitations. With their relatively high complexity and strong seasonal ties, they're mostly lost to history once the season is over. While they do have experimental value, they don't contribute as much long-term benefit to Mythic Plus as we'd like. A side effect of the dungeon rotation change above is that it takes pressure off the seasonal affix to be the big thing that transforms your gameplay in a new season. And this has given us space to really think about what a seasonal affix might look like. Should we try to make seasonals that can become regular fixes in the future? Should we stop doing them in favor of something else entirely? There are a lot of interesting questions to consider as we move forward. On Beta Realms, you'll soon be seeing an experimental version of a single seasonal affix called Thundering. We're still iterating heavily, and it's likely the functionality will change, but it should give a sense of the level of complexity we'd like seasonal affixes to occupy in Dragonflight. Since you've already been learning a whole new set of dungeons, the seasonal affix can be less complicated and focus more on being thematic flavor. Another shift that you will likely notice is a reduction in the amount of borrowed power provided by seasonal affixes. While feedback on beneficial affixes have been positive, and it's a space we definitely want to continue exploring, we hit a level of power in Shadowlands that felt extreme and contributed heavily to the short-circuiting effect described above. We'll be keeping a close eye both on how this feels in playtests and on player feedback, and may try other directions if it doesn't work out as well as we'd like. For example, there's a world where we have beneficial effects closer to Shadowlands, but also make enemies more powerful to offset that extra power. The key takeaway here is that we want to continue experimenting with Mythic Plus, and we hope you'll appreciate seeing a bigger difference in your experience with each season in Dragonflight. Okay, I see the header for the next thing, and I really want to read that, but I have some comments on this. This is not the right choice here. I don't. You're talking about making the seasonal affix worse. That's what you're saying. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so these seasonal affixes aren't defining the season as much anymore. And I can respect that. But yeah, if you're not actually going to make the seasonal affixes. So, okay, let's talk about what's happening here. So in season 4 of Shadowlands, it's pretty freaking obvious that the seasonal affix is way too powerful. Like it's absolutely making the dungeons ridiculous. Like it's just not working. And it's not giving the power. It's not like the risk and reward isn't there. It has no risk. It's all reward. And so as a player, that's fine. But I think it's a big part of why this season is so strange because we have players who have absolutely no idea what they're doing like 20s and stuff. And I think that's part of it, but I really don't think that's the big part of it, but I do think it is part of it. So should we go back to a seasonal affix that's actually difficult only and not positive? No, absolutely not. I hope that they won't do that, but yeah, not really what you want to hear coming out of this really wacky season 4. And I'll tell you what, trying to be optimistic about it, but that does not sound. Yeah, I have no idea what they're talking about. I just hope that they will find a way to make the seasonal effects actually interesting and not just bad like it used to be. Because in the past, I didn't dislike it, but there was times when it just really messed up some dungeons. And I remember very specifically like a dungeon like a Taldazar with the seasonal effects in season 3 compared to the seasonal fix in season 2. It made the dungeon like 5 times harder because it made all the hardest packs even harder. Whereas in season 2, it had no impact on any of the packs. It was like completely irrelevant for the packs themselves. And that was like one thing that I was like, okay, now that season 3's over, season 4, Ataldazar will be easier again. And that was something that I was looking forward to. But now, since we're never going to have the same dungeons again, it's like, oh, well, you're just going to learn these dungeons with this affix, and there'll never be any chance to outplay any of these difficult moments because nothing will change. So we'll see. I don't know what thundering is. They basically made it look like some kind of like reverse quacking affix or something, but yeah, who knows? We'll take a look at that as we go. No matter what Mythic Plus is, I'll still always enjoy it. Like the gameplay and dungeons in general and WoW is always my favorite part. So let's take about this is a really big part here. This is why I came, to make this video. So throughout Shadowlands, we've observed a trend where players who've mastered a set of Mythic Plus dungeons are seeing their sense of progression short-circuited in subsequent seasons. This is a complex problem that intersects with several of the topics outlined above, but the bottom line is that something valuable is lost when the best gear you can get from Mythic Plus isn't necessarily something you earn by investing time and effort into really getting good at Mythic Plus. To be extremely clear, this does not mean we want to make Mythic Plus less rewarding. That's very good to hear that. It's a major pillar of the endgame for World of Warcraft, and players who want to focus on it should have access to competitive rewards. What does it mean? What it does mean is that we want Mythic Plus to have more of a sense of progression as you push higher and higher keys. And we want the gear to get to feel like a reflection of that. To achieve this goal, we're making 2 big changes. Here we go. First, starting with Keystone level 11, we're increasing the rate at which enemies gain health and damage with each subsequent key level from 8 to 10%. What? We're making keys harder. The impact of this change isn't dramatic at any given key level, but it should contribute to giving each step more of a sense of progression and making it easier for us to step up rewards accordingly. Okay, I can respect that. Second, we're adjusting the item level of gear rewards both from end of run chests and from the Grey Vault, and scaling their item level growth up to Keystone level 20. Okay. We're also introducing an additional Valor upgrade tier, which will increase the maximum item level of Valor upgrades that players can unlock with higher Mythic Plus ratings. You can review the chart below for details. Okay, let's take a look here. 421 is now the cap at 20. But 402 is the cap all the way from 17 and higher from end of box. Now I should have looked this up before we started making this post, but I'm pretty sure 421 is middle. It's like the equivalent of where we're at now, isn't it? So this is basically a nerf to the game, to the progression of the game. But I'm pretty sure because 418, when this got data mined earlier in the week, they said 418 was between the lowest and the middle rank of rating gear. Okay. And so if that's true, then I imagine 421 is the middle rank of rating gear. But I don't know for sure. So somebody tell me that in the description. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I predicted that too. Okay. And here's the Valor upgrade tiers. Oh, wow. This is actually pretty nice. 2400. That's what? All 20s? 8 dungeons, all 20s? I don't know if that's true or not. 2400 is all 20s? I'm not sure. But anyway, it's 415 you could take Valor to. And that is a lot higher. That's pretty good. That's actually, yeah, I think that's good. I don't actually know. Let's be honest though, this is actually just not a change. This is just more work for the same quality of gear rewards that we have in Shadowlands. So will it be more rewarding? I don't know. I mean, obviously it should be, but it's not. Like if you're comparing it to Shadowlands, it appears to be worse. Like it's the same, but just more effort. And the question is what 20s are like, because this is the thing that really concerns me. They're basically like, hey, we're going to make keys a lot harder. Like, so now what? Will a 20 be more like a 25? Like, if they made this change today, where would a 20 be? It sounds like it would be probably close to a 25 or a 26 or something, huh? And that's fine. I mean, I don't think it matters. Like that number is irrelevant. The only problem here is it's going to be a lot harder for me to like carry people through 20s, right? Like that's not going to be possible. So, yeah, it's interesting. I do think that's a good thing because I do think there's a very definitive group of people who only do 15s and they don't care at all about the system. They just do 15s, get their vault, and they never want to do keys again. Maybe this system will get them more interested in it now. And I think once you start properly pushing, you will see how fun the system can be, and you'll see the good from it. Because right now, all we see is the bad, because there's no real reason to push. The systems we have that encourage pushing do not work. They're completely counterproductive at this point. They're making easy keys into hard keys, and there's no real incentive even for scoring now for these players. They leave keys that are upgrades. So I'm not really sure what we can do about that at this point. I will make a separate video on that sometime soon. But yeah, this is a big moment, and I hope that this will work, and I hope that the numbers are more encouraging than they sound, because as of right now, it does sound like we're getting the same quality of gear for just way more work. But I'm going to be doing it anyway. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, this does really help me with the problem I was talking about on stream today, where I said, I don't want to play alts. I don't want to be doing this. I really don't. I don't want to be sitting here doing keys on characters I don't really love. I would rather play my DK and actually have something to do on it. And so maybe this will help that. I hope it will, especially in season one. Season one's historically always the hardest every season, because we have less and less gear and stats and stuff. And so yeah, if getting a 20 done is like an actual feat, you know what I mean? Like, and it's gonna take me weeks and weeks to get a 20 done and get 421 gear in the vault, I'll be very happy with that. It'd be very nice if there could be score and gear like there used to be back in the days of BFA and Legion, but mostly BFA. Titan forging, it was really encouraging because even if I sit here through 6 disbands, you know what I mean? It's a rough week. We can still potentially get gear. It makes me want to keep doing keys. Maybe I get lucky. Maybe I get rewarded. Right now in Shadowlands, 0 reward. We're talking about needing 15 points for almost 5 weeks now. That's how little actual, like, just dopamine I'm able to get from Mythic Plus right now. It's almost never rewarding. So hopefully that can change. Shorter affix rotation. This will be interesting too. The last experimental change we'd like to talk about today is placing a couple of our regular affixes on hiatus and reducing the number of weeks in the affix rotation. So we talked about this a few times on stream, and I do think that this was always the way they were going to go. I think 10 weeks in general is just a better number. I thought they might go down to 8, but I think 10 is a better number. It's just less the better, because then you could have, like, if you want a 20-week season or something like that, you can do that. Whereas, or a 30-week season or whatever, the numbers would be, it's easier to plan around. I think 12 is just kind of an awkward number. But I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But anyway, inspiring is a good affix for changing up your gameplay when you have thorough knowledge of a dungeon, but it can feel especially punishing while you're still learning. This didn't feel like a good fit with the increased emphasis on learning dungeons each season going forward. That's an interesting point. I never thought of it that way. It's a good point, like you run into a pack that has inspiring when you don't really know what the pack does. Oh, that's interesting. Necrotic was originally intended to be an affix that challenges tanks, I'm sure, but it's become increasingly apparent that routing responsibilities already place tremendous pressure on tank players in Mythic Plus. Okay, well, at least the company knows that. So we'd like to try giving this affix a vacation. I thank you for that. With a shorter affix rotation overall, we're hopeful that we can reduce the perceived disparity and difficulty between weeks and allow players to more regularly feel like they can make meaningful progress towards increasing their Mythic Plus rating. What does that have to do with anything? I mean, I guess that's true. There'll be less weeks where it's still 10 weeks. That's still 2 months, 2.5 months. I'm not really sure what the point of that comment is, but anyway, we're excited to see how this plays out and looking forward to trying out further changes in season 2 and beyond. While it's too early to make promises, this may include things like swapping out more fixes, changing the level at which the different affix combos become active, or perhaps even trying out a new affix category entirely. I don't know why you would do that, but thank you again for taking the time to share your feedback, and I hope the information here is able to provide good context. So yeah, I mean, nothing really going on here. This is kind of like not anything. I mean, literally the first quarter of this post was just completely irrelevant. I don't know why they're making these statements now. It's way too late to be talking about this. They already did this for season 4, and already pretty much said a lot of this stuff. But yeah, I definitely like. I know this is just scary to me. This is really worrying to me because I just don't know. I just don't know. We'll have to see what it's like. All I know is that if the dungeons are good, I'll be happy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, season 3 minus Upper Karazhan is my favorite season, or season 4 minus Upper Karazhan is my favorite season of the expansion for sure. I really like the Shadowlands dungeons. I didn't love them. They're not all my favorite dungeons, but I did like a lot of them, and I never hated one. That was the big thing. In BFA, I hated Toll de Gore and Siege of Braus. Hated it. It's my least 2 favorite dungeons ever, and it's close up there with Grimrail from WoD. But now Grimrail in Shadowlands is great. I love it. It's actually not bad at all. All the problems I thought we were going to have in there don't really matter, and it's because the dungeon is made a little bit easier. The numerical side of things is looser, and the timer's way loose. And there's no the affixes just didn't really complicate the dungeon like I expected. Like, I'm happy to be wrong about that. But Upper Karazhan, I never would have expected. This is more of a trend with the game than the content. But yeah, the people just don't learn. They don't get better at this dungeon. They don't know how to navigate the dungeon well. And all I could say is, thank God the weird spaces of Upper Karazhan won't exist in the 4 dungeons we're getting. There's no like ridiculously tight spaces and areas that you can aggro mobs and fall off platforms and stuff like people have been doing in that dungeon. So yeah, that could solve things on its own. But it does strike me as somewhat similar to Halls of Valor, where we're just going to wipe the bosses over and over and over and over again. But at least in that dungeon, I know I can easily solo those bosses, as I've been doing since Legion. So yeah, we'll see, man. I don't like the idea of nerfing the seasonal affix. I definitely prefer the last 2 seasonal affixes were the best ones. I like ones that are very frequent and that offer you good pull, risk versus reward. In season 3, it's like, should we get more affixes? Should we go for a better route? Like, what's the play? I like that. I like that a lot in season 4. I think season 4 is the best of it, but it's way too powerful. So they have a big question to answer here. And as long as the dungeons are good and are balanced well, I think it doesn't really matter what else happens. This is the most encouraging thing here, minus the fact that it's fucking buffing dungeon. I don't know if that matters. I don't think it does. I mean, like I said, it really doesn't. If 20 is the cap, if getting a 20 done every season is like an accomplishment, then I'm fine with that. But if it's like too much of an accomplishment and I can't actually get to 421 gear through pugging, then maybe we're not going to be too happy about that. But I don't see how that would happen. I mean, like I said, right now we're doing like 26 is pretty easy, and this dungeon set is really a mess. So yeah, I think that's good. I think that'll work out, and it's just, yeah, unfortunately, the people who do it really casually, yeah, don't even think about it. It's going to be too yeah, you're not going to be able to get this weekly. So you're going to have to really step it up, and I'm happy to tell you that if you're watching this channel, you've come to the right place, man. I'm dedicated to helping everybody in every way I can, but you got to want to do it, and that's the problem right now. So let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more keys, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this on the stream.